Hello, my beautiful people, and welcome back. I am EBINOTTI, and today we are doing New Moon Tarot. So, New Moon, if you've been following along, we've got all the elementals up except for today's, which is going to be the fire element, bringing up the rear. But we're working with the New Moon, which is currently in Gemini. So, New Moon, new season, Gemini, it's out here, exposing a lot of wickedness in the world, but also we are struggling with our polarities between balancing out our different aspects, handling some big truths, battling, our own fears and our desires, and just being so authentic out here. So there's a lot of positive and a lot of struggle that we could focus on, which is why we break down the elements the way that we do. So make sure you check out the other elementals, which are posted up on YouTube on the channel if you haven't already. So working with the fire element under New Moon Gemini, which Gemini is an air element sign. If you have Gemini in your chart, or, if you just have any focus on the zodiac in that way, at least the season that we're in being Gemini is one way to focus on that duality, because we're kind of forced. We call it the months, and maybe where you live, you get 2 seasons, or like where I live, you get 4 seasons. You're kind of forced through these rotational things that we call years and seasons. And that's how Gemini has been feeling. But there's been a lot of positive to go with that. Maybe we're not going to be focusing so much on the positive today, and that's why this is coming up. But there's been so much amazing, incredible, miraculous, huge, extravagant shifting, changing, and experiencing going on. But the flip side of that coin is there's a lot of challenge, there's a lot of struggle, there's a lot of chaos. So it almost has this sort of full moon energy to it coming in today. So reading for fire, I love fire energy. I love creative energy, the warmth, the light, the spark, the energy that you really need. It's our energy. So fire is the solar plexus chakra in the chakra system. That's where we get our breath is very, not our throat chakra, but our breath, the rhythm of it, the power that we can use when we control our breath. If you know anything about martial arts, there's a lot of breath control in that. Nowadays, with these energy workers coming and bubbling to the surface, all of these hidden talents and gifts that people have had, there's a lot of things like breathwork coaches. I highly recommend tapping into breathwork coaches, or just the experience in your own way that you want to, because there's a lot of power to be had. It's a beautiful way to control the emotions. So I love the hack, if you will, of being able to control your emotions by faking it, by controlling the breath. So you're super, super angry, and they say, count backwards from 10, take deep breaths. That's because you can fake it with this system. And it's not really faking it. It's just utilizing the system to your best interest, if you will. So we're going to utilize that system right now. We're going to take a nice deep breath together. Because even sitting down for this, I can't even get the whole breath out before I need to go back to it. Even sitting down for this reading with fire, again, I love the energy of creativity and being capable of taking action, desiring to take action, having the willpower, the ambition to get things done, to figure it out, to make a plan. But sitting down to get into this energy, it feels very Gemini with it. And all I mean by that is a little chaotic, almost like so highly sensitized that it's hard to stay in control, because it's just like pew, pew, pew. Sensory overload is very, very easy for the Gemini archetype. Okay, however you want to embody that. But we're all under the Gemini season, new moon right now, so it is what it is. And when you have the sense ability to absorb information, collect data, observe things accurately and for what they are very quickly, you can easily get distracted and overwhelmed and have a fucking panic attack, your heart racing, your vision going dark, your mental capability completely shutting off, so fainting, going unconscious, things like that. So just a little warning here. Use the air part of Gemini as opposed to just the dualities and really get that breath under control, okay? So being focused on the breath. When you're physically working hard, are you breathing through your mouth? Because you're not supposed to. You're not supposed to, okay? And I can't give you all the science on that. It's just, if you do it, if you are really working and you find yourself and you stop for a second to get in control, to breathe through your nose and to let your diaphragm take control of the heart breath system, you'll feel the power kick in. That's the difference between working hard, working out and hurting yourself, and working hard and building muscle and getting the cardiovascular system pumping and working hard and getting stronger as well, because your muscles build, but other parts of your body need to build too. Your ligaments and stuff, you know, need to be strong. Like, I don't have a lot of muscle mass, but I have very strong ligaments. You know what I mean? My leverage game is tops. Okay. So I'm loving fire. I'm loving working with fire. I lit all the candles. I got incense going for us. I got all the fire going. So working with the element of fire to heal, to heat the chilly spaces, to light the dark spaces. You know, it's a fearless type of energy and it can be out of control very, very easily. So it's not to be fucked with, if you know what I mean. We want to be somewhat responsible when we're messing with this type of energy. And this is talking about our power, whether you're casting spells and, you know, doing witchcraft, or you're like just functioning and wielding your power out here, throwing it around, slapping people up and stuff like that. Like, giving, what kind of authority are you giving in your life right now? You know, because you want to be any kind of teacher you need to be. Let's just put it that way, without any judgment. No shame, no judgment. Safe space is here, my friend. And on that note, cheers to you. I'm going to just take a second and just try to slow this down a little. I want to slow it down so we can get clear messages. But when it goes like this, sometimes it's like, you just got to go along for the ride and hope to God, you know, and just pray and just hope to God that in the end, what needed to be said, what needed to be done, how you needed to show up came out like it was meant to. So there's a lot of dark and light aspects out here. Try not to be too judgmental of yourself. If you're exposing some of your dark aspects, you know, especially when it comes to fire, to power, our breath can be wicked. You know what I mean? Wicked. Cheers to you. If you know, you know, I love cinema. I love movies, TV. I even love books and like storytelling and all of that. So I started watching Snow White and the Huntsman last night, the one with Kristen Stewart and all them, and I really got into that kind of energy and that vibe of healing and giving and being the life force, you know, like the idea of wherever you are on the planet, in your community, in your family, in your, you know, the standing of as a whole on the planet, you know what I mean? Like, wherever you are, just remember the actual power and nature of what you do every day. It affects and impacts in bigger ways than, you know, maybe you've really felt in a while, or maybe you've been thinking about it in a while. It's like, it's important to remember how much life you can give and how important it is to just be that vibration of, you know, not just passion and creativity, but life itself. Indeed. Getting awfully deep with the fire element today. Okay, so we are going to shuffle up. We're going to pick our decks today. If you're ever curious about the decks that I use in the readings, if you're new, hi. I list them down in the description box. If I did not do that for whatever reason, just drop it in the comment section. You've heard me say that a million times. I'll say it a million more. If there's ever something missing from the description box down below, just put it in the comment section. I will update that for you, and you can come back to that link. Okay, so we're going to do the most today. I already know oracle cards that we're starting with the dragons. I just know it. It's got a vibe. I feel the fairies, the dragons, the mystical creatures, the mythical realms coming through so hard today. So I'll pull those out to get them started. Maybe we'll even do the fairy tarot. I don't usually use those kind of decks on the channel because the imagery is so kind of like each... Oracle cards is fine. With the oracle cards is fine. We can use any kind of oracle cards. They're always different. But tarot is tarot is tarot. And I want you guys to get comfortable over time with the imagery for those of you who are interested in tarot or, you know, have that curiosity and that wonder. I want you to see the imagery and start to understand it so you can intuit for yourself the imagery, and also pick up symbolism, patterns, and those kind of things. Again, for those of you interested in those kind of things. I try to do the most. And today we ain't doing shit. We haven't shuffled a single card. We picked a deck. 11:11 on the clock when I said it. So cheers to you. Manifesting is that 11:11 energy. If you don't know, it's about your magic. It's about your power. You know, whether you're into the hippy dippy manifesting magic, spell casting, green witch, green thumb, whatever, it doesn't matter. It's like the way you wield your power, the things you do, the action you take. And since we're almost 12 minutes in, if you haven't caught the message quite yet, the action has been zippity doo dah. We haven't done chit yet. Okay, so that's the message. Just take it easy for a second before you give yourself a fucking heart attack. Or, you know, your brain just shuts down on you. As I sip my processed caffeine with my Nescafe. Ooh. There's been a repeating message. If you don't go back and watch the other elementals, it's totally fine. But there's been a repeating message with New Moon Gemini, this energy that we're working with, to be a little bit cautious and a little bit careful with your energy, because injuries, minor accidents, colds and flus and infections can happen really easily if we're not taking the time to be careful. A lot of us right now are ramped up with our action. There's so much action to be had. It's like there's not even time to breathe, but still the message is the same. It's like you are always breathing, so you need to take the time to breathe. That means if you're working really hard physically, like at your job or something, you gotta take the time to breathe through your nose. It is so more important than whatever you think is more important than that. It is the most important thing, okay? Like, you need to, okay? You need to. This is a physical necessity, like sleep. You can't just choose not to. You'll go fucking, okay? There are some things that are non-negotiable out here. There's a good message. So, you know, if you need to, if you're in the analytical break it down kind of mode right now, then break that down. Break down the things that are completely non-negotiable. Even if it's as simple as, you know, breathing properly. Eating one of mine is eating 3 meals a day, that if I want to be like, you know, really unique, not mundane meals, like delicious food from a million different cultures that I've tried from living in the city and stuff, I had to learn how to cook. This is not the city anymore. There are no restaurants making that food to just drop off at my house for like 15 and under, Canadian dollars. So if I want to fucking eat like that, I have to cook. I have to shop, I have to cook, I have to clean, I have to preserve and portion, and fuck me, you know. It's not like I had zero skills, you know. It's like I can do more than boil an egg. Like, holy shit, I'm Portuguese, so I can definitely, but this is different. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about going from the standard, the lifestyle that I choose, enjoy. Shit, now it's like requiring so much more from me. So I can't remember where that message started, but it's definitely ending with take the time for the things that are actually important. the things that actually make your lifestyle luxury to you, not to somebody else. Someone else's version is not going to satisfy you right now. That's for sure. Okay, I'm going to put that aside and I'm going to start. Oh, my little shoulder. Oh, just did it for me. Okay, we're starting the cards now. It is the Dragon Oracle today. It's all about that fire and the mystical realm. We're going to get a little witchy with this power today. That's another reason I brought up Snow White and the Huntsman. It's that fantastical realm. I love the way they make these movies now. It's like everything's so real. You're just like submersed in this world of like goblins and fucking dwarves and stuff. And it's intense and it's so easy to kind of process things right now. I feel like we're processing really high, even if movies and stuff is not your thing and you're, you know, very social and stuff right now. It's like people around you are helping you process so much right now just by kind of observing or whatever the event ends up being. It's like things are getting weirdly mystical around you, even if you're really not actively leaning into that. Synchronicities are happening and it's like these epic, I can feel these epic moments of just, it's going to be one of those summers. That's how it feels. It's going to be one of those summers. Now that we're wrapping up, actually that reminds me, especially with the fire element, now that we're wrapping up the new moon Gemini readings, the next one's going to be the summer solstice. So that's going to be a lot of fun. We're definitely tapping into the fire element when we deal with our sun. Okay, so on the bottom of the deck, the orange gold dragon from Arcturus, if you're familiar with the constellations, opens you to the knowledge for the new golden age. Indeed. I mean, are we all on different timelines out here? Does anyone know what like the generic or, you know, collective timeline is? Can anybody give us an accurate date? What the fuck is the date line? Do you know? And it's so weird that they make like such popular shows and stuff like that called things that are important for us all to know, like Dateline, what the Dateline is. I live right by it. Who knew? Who knew my little corner of the world here was so significant? And I bet yours is too, if you really took a second to look at it. Again, if that's your thing. If you're into history and, you know, geography or cartography, map making and stuff like that, then maybe you're into it and maybe not. Maybe for you it's astrology. Whatever it be, just be. That's a big message for new moon Gemini, is accepting your duality, accepting your contradictions. You know, how your strengths and weaknesses kind of flip-flop sometimes. Strength becomes a weakness, especially when we're talking fire, power. Like my words can be the thing that save me or bury me. And who can't relate to that? You know, we can all, sometimes we feel like we say the wrong thing, so we embarrass ourselves and get buried. And I'm like, no, that's not what I mean. Spellcasters know what I mean. It's like if you've ever fucked up, like really used your power in an abuse of power kind of way, it's just like, ooh, you need to make amends. You need to like heal, forgive, go full circle with that now. So that's the use and abuse of power out here. And that's why we read fire the way we do, because it's so easy. It's so easy to get distracted, to get overwhelmed, to forget what's really important. Like my mom always says, hone it in, baby. Just hone it in. Keep it simple. Take a deep fucking breath. Every Gemini out there right now, take a deep breath. I know you need it. Geminis are, again, like that live wire. The sensitivity is so high. They're absorbing on a frequency level that we can hardly fathom. There are two, you know what I mean? And that's a lot. That's a lot to be taken. If we all have one receiver, they have two. In their world, in their realm. I'm not saying like, oh, every Gemini is the same. No, it's the natural abilities. It's the way the body is built for us to get in there as a spirit and walk around and do stuff. I can't wait. We have so much to learn as a species, like in our lifetime, whatever age you are, in our lifetime, we are going to learn so much. I hope you've got your thinking caps on and are ready. All of a sudden, the magic school bus just popped into my head. Where the fuck did that come from? That was like a show on TV when I was a kid, and I have not seen it since. It's so random. Okay. Chip chap choppers. We are shuffling and looking for our first oracle card. The fire element. New moon Gemini. We are, let's see, about a week out from the summer solstice as we're doing this reading, whenever you're getting this message. And the summer solstice is going to be the day of light. You know, it's the day of illumination. It's going to be a real interesting day, week, month, however, season, however you want to get on that timeline, or ignore it completely, do your own thing. I might be one of those people this summer, just flying high on my magic carpet, doing my own thing. I'm in the mood. What kind of mood are you in? Because that is what you are manifesting. That is what you are creating. That's what's either empowering you or distracting you off of your natural power. As we get our card. Okay, and on the bottom of the deck, gold and silver violet flame. Ooh. Excuse me. So fire heals. Fire, you know, heats, heals, burns out the infection. It's a really useful tool no matter what stage of life that we're in. But it's always part of our transformation. Fire, okay? It's our breath. It's our ability to really communicate and create and function in this world. So the violet flame, if you know anything about spiritual healing and stuff, it's a really powerful energy of healing, comes through from our ancestors and from our ancestry. So, you know, whether the family dynamic is shifting, we're getting older, you know, some of us are getting younger, however that goes for you spiritually. But there's a lot of transition happening all throughout the cosmos, all at once. So it's like some things are moving forward really, really quickly for us, while other things are transitioning back to the beginning. That's why the golden era, the golden age, the new world is, or new earth or whatever, it all of a sudden, it like reverted, reset, revamped up. It all of a sudden, there was this availability to us to completely snap that back. It's like a snap back kind of feeling, weird. Okay, our card for the reading from the dragons is the magenta dragon. Look at the fire. Look at the fire coming through there. Oh yeah, love the dragon energy. Enables you to bring forward your soul wisdom. We have seen this card. As soon as I read that, I was like, oh yeah. We've seen magenta, the magenta dragon with this fire energy out here under the new moon Gemini already in the reading. So again, and let's read the whole card this time. Awaken your soul memories and higher spiritual understanding. Prepare for accelerated ascension. So when you have to awaken to memories, think about that, right? Like if you're the type of person that's ever had any suppressed memories, like I'm going through a recurring dream kind of thing right now. So when you awaken to something, it's usually pretty ruthless. Like it's usually pretty shaking. It makes you, even you could get those cold sweats. You might be dealing with that in your sleep or in your waking life right now. Some of us have panic attacks. We lose control of our breathing. Our heart rate accelerates. We sweat. And it's like the cold sweats. Some of us are really struggling in our sleep in that same arena. And this is what's going on. The awakening to the soul wisdom. And then how did they say it? Preparing for accelerated ascension is like when you get new power, when you acquire new skills. Think of getting a promotion at work because of new skills. There's usually a pay raise based on whatever you did. You accomplished something. You get a certificate, a graduation ceremony, and then now you can charge more money, and now you're making more money, but now more is required of you as well. So going through this, whether again, it's happening in your waking life or it's happening in your sleep. Give yourself a little bit of understanding and grace here that this is, you know, it's like running a marathon. You're going to be out of breath. Okay, so that's what's going on. It's not necessarily a health issue if you're resonating with this. I mean, do you when it comes to your physical health? But spiritually, this is not necessarily a physical health issue as much as it is part of your spiritual process. You're going through something right now that is based on new skills, new requirements, new responsibilities. Okay, and that's not really a joke. That's pretty big stuff. So if you need to go see your doctor and maybe get some blood work done or something, maybe you need to do that. Oh yeah, the energy is high. There's like a really high level of anxiety too. It feels high stakes. I'll uncross my legs here so I can make sure my blood is circulating properly. It feels a little high stakes, which is great because that's how it really is out here. You know, no matter what you're trying to do or whether you are feeling really zen or in survival mode, it's always high stakes out here. And that's just the reality. So a little bit humbling. Sometimes we need to slow down and we don't wanna. Okay, so again, making sure we're in control. It keeps coming back to the breath. Making sure that we are at the very least in control of the breath. You can go as fast and as hard as you want to right now, as long as you listen to the body, okay? As long as you stay on that line, I guess is a way to say it, but it's like stay in awareness. You don't want to get all distracted and then go hard and fast because you can really hurt yourself. Like, be very, very careful with rage. And again, like panic, you know, panic attacks, they can put you out, man. Like, so being very, very careful. Like we always are. It's always important to take care of ourselves in that way. Nothing is more important than your well-being. Don't let anyone or anything tell you any different. Okay, and on that beautiful and lovely note, we are going to get into the goddess oracle. It's going to be the goddesses. You know, I'm really feeling the goddesses of nature. Okay, let's cut this deck. I can't show you the one card that just haunts me. It just pops up so damn much, and it's just such a haunting card. If she comes up, she comes up. But I couldn't show it to you because YouTube will shut that shit down. Okay, so on the bottom, look at that beautiful imagery. And this is Inanna embracing the shadow. There you go, Gemini season. Embrace the shadow, baby. There's not a lot of options here under Gemini energy pouring in. You know what I mean? You have to be in resonance. You have to be in acceptance, love, all the things, endurance I'm hearing right now. Yeah, you got to be in communion with your shadow. Okay, because that beast in there will protect you. Oh my God, no matter what you got going on. So love it. Love and appreciate. And embrace the shadow. Okay, especially with fire, because if you don't, if you're in denial of your fears, your darkness, your shadows, you can really create some shit with fire. You know, you don't want to move from fear. You don't want to move from that kind of thing. Okay, so let's see what's getting our fire going and in balance. And there's our card. Ooh, I can see her. Can I reach her? We've seen this card quite a few times over the years. Death and Rebirth with Saradwin. Oh, the cycles of the moon and everything, and the working with the waters the way that we do as divine feminines is so powerful right now. And Gemini season really feels like it's kicking it off. I know that's not the beginning of the spiritual year or anything like that, but it really feels like finally and somehow all of the ingredients for the potion and for whatever's necessary comes together and we get to move forward with the cycle. So death and rebirth coming out to start us. On the bottom of the deck for the goddesses, we get Uzmi. I love this with laughter. Thank God. Tits out. You see her? So much for YouTube not cutting me off. It is what it is. And that's exactly it. That's the energy of Uzumi, okay? Because the divine feminine is so good at laughter and exposing the self, not in a shameful or humiliating kind of way, but in the way where the acceptance and the love is so real that what the hell else are you going to do except go like tits out and just laugh it off? Okay, so there's going to be some really interesting events going on with the collective. Okay, let's see if we can get some. Yes, we're going to use the Tarot of the Familiars today and get the familiars out here with some of that animal spirit clarity that we really could use. The familiars, the companions, the familiars, the animal spirit guides guiding us through certain things within the self that we need to focus on. And that's not just animals right now. That's everything in nature. Okay, so it could be like plants, birds, animals, water, like rivers, lakes, literally anything in nature. The sky, like clouds, flowers, gardens, anything. That could be an abstract version of nature, whatever. The companionship, the synchronicities, the co-creative manifestation power, all of those things. So really tapping into the synchronicities, the messages around us and the signs, especially when it comes to fire. If we're wanting to take action, like if that's the thing that really gets our goat, is taking action, as opposed to, for example, with me, it's like magic really gets my goat. So the things that are miraculous, impossible, imaginative, fantastical, like in the fantasy realm. That's why I leaned into the dragons getting into this, because it's like, okay, let's do mythology. Let's do, you know, the more elusive, mysterious, legendary. Like I want that legendary status, you know. So that's what's coming in under fire, is that sort of level of thing, whatever it is that really gets your goat. Okay. We have strength and we have weakness surrounding that, so that's something really important to focus on with death and rebirth out here. It's like, ooh, that brings a certain level of patience and acceptance, because it is really serious. Life is, you know, it has its serious element. Cheers while we get into the tarot. Tarot readings are still available. If you want a personal reading from me, just make sure you message me on any of the social media platforms that you have me, or send an email. We'll get you the pricing list and book you in for a reading. On the bottom of the deck to start us off, the Chariot. Just as I was starting to get kind of woo, you know, it's like, do I need to sit down? Do I just need a deep breath? Do I need some, what do I need right now? The Chariot is this unstoppable force, this unbelievable amount of momentum that gets behind something. So because of that level of excitement, that's just bottom of the deck getting into the reading, gives us sort of theme to start off with. You want to take the time to, okay, here's how I'm going to say it. You want to have the energy for the things that are really important, that are about to become great opportunities for you. So you can't really be dicking around with, you know, some this and that kind of stuff. Meaning you can do anything you want to do, or you can do nothing at all until it's time to do stuff. That's kind of not really coming across right. It's like you can waste as much energy, you know, people want, your kids want energy, that everybody wants your attention, your energy. That's fine. That's not going to really drain you unless it's kind of toxic shit, to be honest. So it doesn't matter how tired you feel on a day. I'm talking the spiritual cup, right? You want to make sure your spiritual cup is full right now, because when the dream door just opens, you want to be able to fucking sprint through that shit before it can close behind you, or anything like that. So you want to be ready for the thing that you've wanted for so long, or that you really, really want to create in a certain field in your life. Okay, first card out, the Six of Swords. We are in need of. There's some of us who still haven't got here, but being that this is the first card out, a lot of us are in calmer waters now. So we've come off of some, probably either a really intense month at work or home. It's just been like, you feel like you're running kind of around in circles, being completely drained, and we are finally crossing into calmer waters, thank God. So there's this feeling of, you know, just getting over a cold, or just getting back on your feet, or just getting there where you need to be. Okay, so, you know, for those of us who we've got a lot of energy and all that right now, we can really support the healing and the calming of the waters around others who are, you know, skidding in sideways. Second card out, the Five of Cups. This is exactly the energy that as divine feminines we can support in each other, is grief and loss and understanding. We as girlfriends or family, you know, members, sisters, cousins, aunties, we spend so much time focusing on the Five of Cups energy, which is the things that we've lost, or the things that we feel like aren't satisfying us, you know, like where we need to change. And that's the key, is we're already on path to the change. And because of all of the new beautiful things that can come with these cycles, there has to be endings, you know, like if we want change, that means change. And it can be painful to look back and see maybe things that we don't find it so easy to laugh about, you know. We feel like we've left things behind that really had value. It's like, oh, you spent a lot of time with someone, you guys used to laugh a lot, but in the end it's like you wanted more anyway. So there's a harsh acceptance to swords for sure, especially coming off the Five of Swords and now we're like in the Six. It's like with the progress comes wounds. We got 5 damn cuts, and now we're waiting for the 6th sword to hopefully not cut the shit out of us on the way in, you know. But what's important to note with something like a Five of Cups energy is with grief and loss comes the surrender and the change that is required to truly get, you know, the gifts, the dream, the, you know, the love, the money, the house, the lifestyle, the job, the whatever it is that we really want, right? Excuse me. So it's hard, but the alignment is the most important thing. And so far here, all we have is balance and alignment, even though there's a lot of changing, and a lot of painful things, you know, that we're coming off of right now, or some of us are like literally head first, boom, right in the middle of. So just supporting, just being out here, taking it one day at a time. For those of us really stuck in grief and loss and pain and suffering, you know, it's taking the time to care for yourself, to love on yourself, and trying to be the independent pillar in that, like trying to find that in your own self, because you're never really alone, right? So being strong. Strong does not mean not breaking down and not dealing with the waters and the emotions. Of course, that's a huge part of it. So no judgment, you know, being gracious to yourself and appreciating the natural cycles out here. Because if you really believe that you're worth a damn, if you really believe that you would enjoy a luxury lifestyle, whatever that means for you, and appreciate things of value and spend money wisely, and maybe sometimes not so wisely, but like so fun, like, you know, that's spreading all that good stuff into the world. And that's all it really takes, you know. So you got to be real with yourself all the way through with that, though. That's the key. That's the real death and rebirth that's going on, is like the moon. You see these moon cycle energies back here? The moon is the shadow part of everything. That's why it's the feminine. You know, the sun is masculine and the moon is feminine, right? Well, the moon brings out not your dark desires. It's like your subconscious ones, the ones that you suppress, the ones that the world has put on you as feeling shame around and all that. If you put yourself up on this pedestal and you keep reaching down, you know, those losses are going to hurt 10 times worse, because nobody, air energy with the Six of Swords, nobody made you believe that. You decided that thing was yours, you know, and when the loss of it comes, it's like, shit. That's why it's so hard to let go of. Five of Cups is because you convinced yourself that that was your level. You can't be like all prince-like in here and then go around with some, you know what I mean? I'm not even going to say it. I'm not even going to be mean. I'm not even going to be mean like that. I'm trying to think of like a sort of PC way to say it, but like, you can't date below your station. You can't play around in the mud. You can't, you know, I don't want to say all the mean things, but you know, it's the guru way for me to say it would be like, it's time to get the things that are meant for you. Okay, and that means that being really, really honest about your true spiritual path, like your desires, your unique gifts and power and value, the value that you have. You know, it's not about comparing like we're better than them. Everybody's got their place, you know, so just don't even worry about anyone else and their value and who's better, and let other people battle about that shit, and just get out here with your like all of your whatever it is that you've got going on. I know it's something. Central energy, the Seven of Pentacles. A little bit of a message that there's some work to be done here, that, you know, we've got all minor arcana, which we don't see a lot of. So I know that with fire, it's like the message is to break it down. You know, when it gets out of control, there's some kind of like round and round going on in the mind that we're believing some fear-based thing that is just not fully true. And we need to reflect on it in a healthy and mature type of way. Like, which just means break it down, you know, and whether that's fact or emotional or spiritual, on whatever realm you got shit going on right now and your power is feeling limited or blocked in any way. If you've got some blockages going on in your creativity, or maybe at work you're feeling a little bit like limp, however it is, okay, it's tough, but it's a moment of, you know, doing the hard work, one foot in front of the other, one day at a time. This is the stuff that we do. This is how it is, you know, and it's not like all the bad stuff, like this is how it is, it's going to be like this forever. No, this is how it is. Like, you got yourself here. You're going to get yourself out. You're going to be all right. Fourth card out, still in the minor arcana here. We got the Three of Wands. So here's the positive, optimistic version of tarot. Look out onto the horizon and know that the ships that are out there, that one of them is yours. It's like your package is on its way. Okay, you ordered it from the universe, you tended the crops, planted the seeds, watered that shit for months, and it's almost time to harvest, but it ain't time yet. And what's coming is that belief, that optimism, that understanding that yes, things will get better, that yes, there is power and, you know, creative, like new things to be had, to be made, to be done. For some of us, this isn't going to be something new coming in though. This is going to be something that we ordered, we are expecting. And that can be some crazy, wild shit. You better believe if death and rebirth is out here as a cycle from the goddesses, then yeah, that can be some wildness. And for others of us, it's going to be the simplest thing. It's like the desire to get up and get the job done today. And for others of it's like miracles, dreams coming true, things finally making sense, like something that's been like, you know, on the mind, in the back of the mind as a story or a golden thread through something, the puzzle finally coming together and it being like, aha, the epiphany moment. Wouldn't be surprised if we got the Hermit out here. And I almost said the Hierophant, so wouldn't be surprised if we got the Hermit or the Hierophant out here to tell us all about it. But let's see what we get for our fifth card out. which will be our final card, and then we will get our 5 clarifiers. Oh, it's a lot. Okay, let's see if we can take any of these. No, we can't take any of these. So let's just 8 of Wands popping up. We'll see if that card comes back out. Ooh, those deep breaths are necessary right now. My energy is crashing so hard. And that is a-okay by me. We will replenish. Oh, I love food so much. I'm very excited because my food has been so on point lately. But right before things got back on track, holy shit, I was failing like consistently. So where we have stress, we can also have so much pleasure. Like on the other side of that stress, when there's relief, when there's like challenge, and then success, the accomplishment is just so much better. So much better in that sense. Okay, let's see if we get this card out now. Hold on, I'm going to move this. It's getting windy out there again. Spring season has been so interesting. We've had some beautiful summer days. And then we've had some like interesting stormy days. The wind has been rocking it out here. So it might be like a healing and cleansing ritual for somebody is to get out somewhere where there's like really an intense wind and just let that blow your hair around, your clothes around, just go through the system, you know. The inner child is having so much fun. Like I recently watched so much old Disney that I hadn't seen in so long, like Pocahontas and stuff. I love Disney, but there are a whole bunch of them that I just forgot about. I don't know, haven't watched, wasn't called to watch, that lately have been coming up, like Pocahontas, and it's been so wonderful. So let the inner child do some of that healing for you if you can. It's easy and it's fun. Again, like Uzumi coming up to talk about it with the laughter and the lightheartedness. And so gold and silver, the violet flame dragon all of a sudden was just like, read the card. I'm like, okay. Transmute the old around you. Transmutes the old around you with wisdom and grace. And that's that inner child energy, exactly like I'm talking about. It's a healing energy. And it can be really simple, and it can be really, you know, high intensity, shocking, but it is an extremely useful energy. The healing that the inner child can do for us, it's surprising. So whether you want to be spending time with kids or the kids, or watching some of the things, going back to your own inner child stuff, however that comes about for you. As my nose gets so very itchy. Okay. Final card in our spread before we clarify with 5 more is the 10 of Cups, the 10 of Water. So reading for fire, where does all that energy come from? It comes from the things that we feel about, which means the things we care about. So power comes from a lot of different places. And the difference between dark power and light power is our acceptance and love of the things that give us power and why. You know, it's our reasoning. It's how much in balance and in alignment we are with our own intuitive power. So intuition has a lot to do with the water. And that's why 10 of Cups is so on the board and available to you. It's a safe space. It's, you know, where everything is in alignment with you, within your home, your body, your kingdom, your family. It's, you know, it's what we're all kind of shooting for out here, is a good feeling. That good feeling. So all minor arcana, all 5 of those cards are minor arcana, which we very, very rarely see, especially here with the EBINOTTI collective. So let's see what we get for our clarifiers. Minor doesn't necessarily mean that nothing's going on, you know, like it feels like when we first saw magenta, like the preparation for accelerated ascension, it's like, yeah. If you've been really, really busy and really exhausted and just got so much going on, great, you're probably going to get some time to rest, you know, because the ascension process is going to be, that's why you're exhausted and you're allowed to slow down now. Excuse me. I love this. First card, the Six of Swords, clarified by the Six of Pentacles. So the 6-6 energy, we are manifesting at the highest levels here because this is balance. This is masculine, feminine balance. It's the as above, so below, even though that's typically the number 8. With this kind of balance, we do get masculine, feminine. We do get as within, so without. Because if we can't envision the generosity and the pleasure and the lifestyle and all the physical things that we want, if we can't envision it here, we will never see it in front of us, because even if it's there, we will be blinded to it. Love is not the only thing that's blind out here. You know what I mean? The fire really is about not just pleasure. It's like the understanding of pleasure, the acceptance of pleasure, the ability to create, enjoy pleasure. So the excitement, the thrill, the power, we can waste it. We can completely ignore it. But it seems that what's available to us here, 51:15. 6-6 on the clock as I say it. What's available to us here is real balance. Okay, real balance between the partners, whether that's business or pleasure. It's balance between business and pleasure. So our time and our resources get balanced. Our partnerships get balanced. And because this is our first energy, it is behind us, especially most of us. Some of us in the collective will still be working with that energy, but a lot of us can just support the people that have gone through it, made it through it, are on the other side where there's new challenges and new things to focus on and be had. Okay. Just taking a deep breath there. Clarifying our 5 of Cups, we have the King of Swords. Okay, so the mental space, getting a little bit of an upgrade here, and that's great. Especially with, I mean, oh my God, I hate that wisdom comes from this type of experience, but it really does. And with, again, Saradwin out here, death and rebirth cycles, loss, you know, a lot of, I feel so much for the collective that of what they're going through, like my ears ringing. And I'm so open-hearted as a feminine to the, like, I'm very compassionate in feeling what you guys are going through and wanting to be there and, you know, be understanding, be the guide, give you the perfect message, King of Swords, right? The master of the air element. It's like, I want to give you the perfect message, but you got to hear it. And that's the key. In grief, like, we got to go through that kind of energy before we're capable of really hearing anything. But when we do, the lessons are so powerful. We master aspects of ourselves and aspects of life. So appreciating right now that a lot of what we've been through is based on mastery. Okay, and that doesn't make it any lighter, but it does give us some sort of peace in knowing that we're not alone in it and that there is purpose behind everything we do, even if we are not that significant, you know, which of course you are. Of course you are. Why do you think we're all here? For you, for this. You know, some messages from the ancestors coming through on that one, and I love that. Okay, central energy, clarifying that 7 of Pentacles. We get some major arcana out here finally with the Strength card. So again, you know, this is the shadow. Strength card is about, you know, balancing and finding courage and strength within your own self to tame the darkest parts of you. and to accept the darkest parts of what you've been exposed to in this world, right? It's not all balance out here. We saw the Six of Pentacles, clarifying the Six of Swords in that first line, but on to the Seven of Pentacles, where things get a little bit more dark. You know, we need to be a little bit more patient. We need to have understanding. We need to take that wisdom. So the wisdom here is that there is shadow work to be done, which could be happening around you, could be happening within you. It just kind of is what it is, you know. So doing our part, standing strong and firm and brave and fearless, and knowing that we're not alone. And sometimes we need only ask for help and it will physically show up for us. Seven of Pentacles as the central energy is a physical energy. And it's a lone wolf energy with the strength under it, of course. When you're special, when you're capable, you know, kings and queens is like, it's a very lonely thing out here with all that responsibility. Of course it is. Parents feel alone, kids feel alone. And it's, you know, it is what it is, in that we can't always be the ones there for each other. Sometimes that's got to come from a different force. Like, me and my mom are really, really close. And sometimes, you know, I'll get a motherly energy from someone else. And sometimes she'll get a child energy from someone that's not actually her child, you know, where that relationship is healed through someone else, an outside force or an exterior force or person. So not shutting down, even though there's a lot of pain. There's a lot of dark night of the soul and death and rebirth and truths and exposure and finding from the 5 to the 6 kind of energy, finding balance out here. So there's, you know, that's, you really need to give yourself the compassion and the grace and not take any extreme action. Just have some patience here. Have some patience. And that just means taking it one day at a time and knowing how strong and brave you are. You know, having that value for yourself. Nobody else has to have that. You know it. You know, you can prove it. And you don't need to prove this to anybody or anything. Find the thing within yourself that is true about it and leave it at that. Okay, and it really is as simple as that. Sometimes you got to fluff yourself up a little bit to get through something, and there's nothing wrong with that, okay? But you don't have to be delusional. There is real truth in your situation. And nobody out here is like better or worse than anyone else in reality. Dang, we still didn't get it. 2 more clarifiers to get out here before we wrap up New Moon Gemini with the fire element reading. With the fire element, that's so many, but I have 3 in my hand and the 3 of Cups is showing. I like the 3 synchronicities. We started with 6-6 with the Lovers. We're going to finish that off with bottom of the deck, Major Arcana number 6. Okay, we'll talk about that in just a second. Under our 3 of Wands, we get more Major Arcana, Judgment and Strength side by side. That's something to talk about. And then to finish us off, clarifying our 10 of Cups, we've got the 9 of Cups and the 4 of Wands. Yes. The reason I love this so much, the 4 of Wands is a strong commitment to something, so it really is stable enough to buy into whatever that thing that you're aligning to within your spirit is. It's like one of the only fire energies that we actually got out here. We have the 3 of Wands, which we're going to clarify in just one second with that Judgment card. But I like that we're finishing off with, you know, the fulfillment and the alignment that is not a selfish one, the 10 of Cups, clarified by exactly how do you get all of the, you know, dream home, dream life, happily ever after, you know, something worth living for, satisfaction and contentment and all those beautiful heart space things. You align to yours. You get your water clean and healthy and all that shit within your home, your vessel, your spirit, your fire, you know, your power center. If you don't have anything right now that's feeding good power into you, including yourself, you need to shut it down. You need to chill the fuck out, shut it down, get the waters all back to clear, because fire and water as elements balance so easily, but can be so destructive if we're not clear and hopeful and feeling healthy. It's like, think about a tainted water source. It can be very devastating. Okay, so again, bottom of the deck with the Lovers, and ooh, I cannot help but see that the Devil is poking out. Just would not be ignored. So here's the thing about the Lovers. There is always a choice in love. The masculine and feminine energy that balances out the Lovers. That's why major arcana rules minor arcana, because there's always a way to go through the elements and get to the root of it. So when we saw the 6-6 to start us off, and then the Devil coming out all 6-6 like with the Lovers, major arcana 6, the Devil being 15, breaking down to a 6, we see 6-6 again. Do you see where this is going? Like, it gets real deep if you let it, okay? But it also gets dangerous. It's like, I shut my heart out, like, shut it down. Because I didn't want to hurt people anymore. I was so scared of my own fire. I was so scared of, like, if I love, if I commit, if I open up, if I tell someone I'm their girlfriend, we're in a relationship, all of the expectation that comes with it, I'm going to fail. So there's a truth to love, loving and knowing yourself, and then opening up to somebody else and letting them in. But there's a lot of manipulation that goes on both of those parts, okay? The one partner and the other partner. Think of the Gemini energy, because we're under new moon Gemini, being the twins, or the yin and yang energy of dark and light mixing. There's so much of that. Look at the white wolf of the Lovers and the dark wolf of the Devil, with, you know what I mean? Like, centrally we have the Strength card with that same white wolf. So a lot of your strength, a lot of your power comes from the hard work you've done. I just saw 1111 on the clock, so more synchronicities to say it to you. But think of all of the experience that you have and try to understand, really understand the value that that experience has for you. It's like, nobody can really make you feel accomplished or valuable if you don't feel that way yourself. And that's not the arrogant, egotistical, swagger kind of based. That is not attractive. You know what I mean? And like, yeah, swagger and all that shit and like shiny shoes, super attractive, but not in a spiritual way. Spiritually, none of the material stuff matters. And that's kind of how this feels. It's like, you have to, when you're in your darkest, okay, when you're at like rock bottom or emotionally going through it with the Lovers, you have to really accept who and what you are in all of your aspects. That's why the Lovers are standing in front of the full moon, because that's the shadow element to the self. It's not devaluing, it increases the value. If you don't know anything about your weaknesses or, you know, how the Devil could present himself to you, the offer, the temptation, you're gonna fail so hard and so many times. And that's, I'm not trying to make you feel shitty about it. Where the fuck do you think this strength comes from? We have all failed so many times, like Edison and his fucking light bulb, you know, the scammer. I almost forgot to show us, sorry, the fourth and final energy, because we skipped to the fifth, was the Three of Wands clarified by Judgment. This is the ability to go through, pierce the veil without any consequences. That means it can't touch you. The Devil can't touch you. Some janky ass ex fucking bully partner, family dynamics are rough, so parent, sibling can't touch you, because, you know, you're already on route. The sails are up, you know, and you are catching the wind. Tide is a calling, and you are off on your next adventure. So there's a lot to be had here, whether you are just going through healing right now, which is not a just in any way. That's a huge amount of things that you have to do and focus on, and it's really about time. But there is a huge amount of stuff available to us, to you, since this is your reading. Huge amount of stuff available to you if you can get into that balance and allow the masculine and feminine element or aspects within yourself to come into alignment. So it's not always going to be so clear with fire. The cycles can be a little rocky, a little choppy on that water, because we do so much with fire, and there's karma in the moment with fire. You know what I mean? It's never sort of like a stagnant or even temporary kind of energy. It's like once you burn that, now there's a whole healing process, probably going to leave a scar. And that's just how we are. That's just how life is. Okay, we're going to leave that one right there as I am parched. Starting to get a little hungry. Got to do some self-care, my very own self. So I hope you're enjoying your moon cycle and, you know, really taking the time for yourself, and, you know, appreciating the impact and the power that you have, so that you don't have to deal with, you know, the shame and guilt of wielding power beyond your will, or allowing things in that tempted you, that made you weaker than you actually are. So really leaning into the who and what you are, okay? Thank you for watching. Please do give this video a thumbs up if you liked it. Make sure you subscribe if you want to see more videos from me, EBINOTTI, here on this channel. Courses, programs, all kinds of wonderful things coming out. Personal readings are available if you like that one-on-one stuff. And we're just going to leave it right there. Thank you again so much for being here and hanging out and putting your energy into this collective. We appreciate you so very much for taking the time to be an awesome human being out here, because there's a lot more of us than we realize. There really, really is. And you're one of them. So that's the message for the moon cycle for you when working with the fire element. I was going to say the new moon fire. Weird. When working with the fire element under this new moon Gemini, the real message for you is valuing the self, taking the time to appreciate the self, and wield your power. Do what you want, do nothing. Either way, shit's gonna be getting done right now, okay? So I love you so much. Mwah! And I will see you on your next reading.